is possibly one of the most unique games on Roblox. Its very simple premise, along with very, very hilarious, unbalanced, and just generally fun to use weapons, amounts to a very, very fun game that I love playing. However, there are a few special weapons that really, really make this game shine. The transformations. You see, one of the weapon types can occasionally allow you to become a completely different creature. There are 6 of these different creatures that you can become in the game, and they range from terrible to absolutely incredible little goobers that you can be. So in today's video, I'm going to be ranking all 6 boss fight characters in Random Rumble. Starting off with the undoubtedly worst transformation in the entire game, and the only one of these that I think is genuinely bad, we have number 6, T-34 mode. But you're wondering, what do you mean that's terrible? You're literally inside of a tank. Well, I will explain to you. You can't move. You see, without specifically using a movement ability, yes, his first ability is literally called Drive, you cannot move with this tank. So you have to actively not be attacking your opponent to either dodge or just move around your tank. And you might be thinking, okay, that seems pretty bad, but there has to be some redeeming qualities, like, yeah, you should be dealing a lot of damage. Well, guess what? No, you're not. Because even if you are using your powerful attacks, the most you can deal is 24 damage, which is not even of a quarter of the player's health. So majority of the time, you would be better off not transforming in the first place. Not to mention, all of your attacks can damage yourself, which is just terrible for you. So for having terrible movement, and by far the worst attack power of any of these transformations, the tank, or aka T-34 mode, will take last place. Next up on our list is number 5, boss mode. You'll eat a mushroom, it becomes slightly bigger, get slightly more speed, and now you have 3 new abilities: power, energy, and speed. So let's go through all of boss mode's abilities. You have power, which should realistically just be named Stomp, as you have punch stomp but long, punch stomp but you go into the air first, and stomp, but that's what the ability is called. Then we have energy, which has I'm a fire in my laser, a dead meme. We have a Sans reference in the form of squid, and an ability that does next to nothing in magnet. Then we also have speed, where you have kick that does barely anything, jump, which is good for jumping, and then the regular attack where you dash forward and deal damage. As you can see, all of that sounds really average, and you'd be absolutely correct. This is a very, very average build. The only notable thing that is notable about this entire ability is that A, shift lock is weird with the I'm a fire in my laser, and B, bam! That was an awesome thing that I really like. As you just saw, the speed thing has a special finisher animation that no other ability in the game, as far as I'm aware, has. So for the ability being average, and there being very little change to your avatar itself, this one will take 5th place. You know, number 4, Nico mode, was something I would never have expected to be added to the game. When I was playing this about a year ago, I did not expect this. In fact, I wouldn't even expect this in my top 1,000 things that I would expect to be added to the game. Why on earth is this a thing? It's not even bad, it's just weird. Without further ado, you have a melee weapon, a laser eyes, a bottle of, and I quote, pilk. Yes, Nico rocket, and as you can see right now with all the little Nicos, I'm going insane, aren't I? Yes, you have Nico summon, where you summon an NPC, is kind of like the cat eraser thing. This one is here because I don't understand, and no one wanted this to be included, and nobody expected this to be included. The devs just woke up drunk one day, I guess. I don't understand this, man. So, despite it being something very, very weird, and something nobody wanted to the game, and still being pretty weak, it is better than the last one because it's just hilarious to see this walking towards you while you're holding a destroyer of world nuke or whatever. This game is just so random, and this, despite being something nobody wanted, fits in with that weirdness perfectly. So it does deserve the number 3 spot here. And before we get to number 3 on this list, I would like to quickly mention an honorable mention being that subscribe button. Please punch it in the face for me. Now on to number 3. The number 3 in question being a little trolling. This is the first boss fight-esque thing they added to the game, so it is by far the most basic with pretty basic attacks. You have a band hammer that is just a hammer that does a lot of knockback. You have a shield that parries. You have a projectile that actually covers up the opponent's screen so that they have less visibility. You have an oil bucket that allows you to jump really high for some reason. And you have briefcases that can either do 1,000 of damage to you or whoever steps on them, or it can heal you back to max HP. So very, very balanced game design there. So overall, he's very fun to play as, but what about against? Because with his briefcases almost always killing you if you're not a troll yourself, he is very, very annoying because of one thing, his song. I'm just going to make you guys listen to it for 5 seconds, and we'll see how many of you are put into an insane asylum. You know what was also really annoying? Getting the footage for this guy. Because again, with the song, it's playing on repeat. We got like 15 minutes of footage just for this character. I don't know why. But the thing is, we both have to be using it. And since we didn't activate our abilities at the exact same time, we're obviously not in perfect sync. So our songs aren't. So we're listening to the same song, but his is delayed by like half a second. So I hear ba-na-na-na and then ba-na-na-na, but it's like halfway through, so that this is what it sounds like. Ba-na-na-na-na. Which obviously doesn't sound annoying for that half-second period I made y'all listen to it. But imagine listening to that for 15 minutes. So overall, for being pretty annoying and pretty powerful at the same time, plus also being a pure classic, like this was the first transformation move in the game originally, I think it deserves the number 3 spot. Number 2, Abby and Noosh Abby and Noosh?
Abby and Noosh mod.
AKA the big neck suit that falls out of the sky and crushes you, but then you become a cool guy, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, here we have a melee mode, a ranged mode, and a speed mode. No, I'm not getting flashbacks to boss mode, because this one is so much cooler. You have a very, very powerful gun-based weapon that not only can shoot laser beams, but can also do tactical gunning. You have a slam pow thing, and you can jump in the air. God, why is this so similar to boss mode? So not only is it very, very cool, but it is very, very powerful, with it dealing more damage than, unfortunately, all of T-34 moves, and it also just feels good to play as. Not to mention, look at this grab. So you're probably thinking, wow, that was really cool. But there's one more thing I would like to add. The reason I added 2 little extra punches on the end there is because those are guaranteed to hit since they're stunned on the floor and can't do anything at all. So, what do? You hit them with that, dealing 47 damage. Yes, I did count. Then you punch him twice. That deals 87 damage. You can finish him off with any other move that you have at your disposal, because you'll only have 13 health left. So this is a very, very cool, very, very powerful mech, and it is definitely deserving of 2nd place. I'm going to be completely honest, before I started talking about this boss fight, I was gonna give it the number 2 space. But then I realized, this thing is awesome! It has incredibly cool moves with incredibly good animations, a great model for the hammer, and the particle effects are awesome. Everything about this thing screams it had a ton of work put into it. Not just that, There are perfect counterplays that you can play against this boss, and it got its own mode. Yes, it literally got its own specific mode where you fight against this guy and everybody gangs up on him. So, it's just awesome. I will tell you why this is a number 2. It's really cool. You have 2 attacks where you send out a large shockwave, an attack where you shoot an extremely powerful projectile, an attack where you swing your hammer, and then a really boring dash attack where we don't talk about the very boring dash attack. So, overall, it's very, very fun, and I really like the particles. Just the general stance of this boss is very, very cool to me. Also, I love how, despite it being very powerful and dealing a lot of damage, you can fight against it if you know what you're doing. For example, with the big spinny, which is the one where you do that, if you know how to dodge the attack, you can just stay between all the spinnies. For the lightning, you know that you can jump over the particles, which allows you to instantly get in a counterattack while they're in live. It is such a good boss fight that it really just deserves to be high up. But I'm not talking about the boss attacks. Let's talk about the boss fight and the boss stage. Yes, they made an entire stage specifically for this boss fight. But enough of that. Look at how cool this is. They made an entire stage specifically for this boss fight, and it is incredibly cool. It's very, very bland with a lot of space to run around. And see those little ramps that go upwards? Yes, that was specifically designed to work around the lightning move that he has, because they go up that ramp. It's an incredibly cool boss fight, and I think it is deserving of the number 1 spot. Anyway, that was my random Rumble boss ranking video thing. I hope you enjoyed it, because I certainly did. This is probably the most fun I've had editing a video in a long time. Sorry if this video looks a bit weird. I'm editing with Camtasia 2024, not 2023, because this is the first time I've updated it in a year. Yes, I have not updated it since I got this channel. I hope it looks good. And well, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the save and watch later button, hit the subscribe button 2 more times after the first one, hit it 3 times total. That sounds good. And finally, go watch Drywall is Cool. He's a very, very cool guy, can confirm.